cable company.
We'll call this meeting of the Blackhawk County Board of Supervisors to order for September 25th, 2018. Roll call, Mr. Beater.
Leyland,
Here.
Little,
Here.
Magsman,
Here.
Schwartz,
Here.
White.
Here, have a moment of silence to reflect on our actions of the day. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have the agenda received as proposed?
So moved.
as amended?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Public comments, anybody from the public like to comment about anything other than what's on the agenda? Come to the microphone, state your name and address, please, sir.
Forrest Dillevue, 1725 Huntington Road,
Morning.
Waterloo, Iowa.
Morning,
I
Flora.
would like to speak briefly about some action that has been filed against some of the city council members across the street. It was filed with the Blackhawk County Attorney. 3 of those charges have been over a year at the county attorney's office. One of them was filed and processed in a very timely manner against another council person. I think those that have been on file for over a year, action needs to be taken and they need to get an answer. I feel that this restricts some of our city leaders from voting on some issues that are being contested. And I just begging whomever, I may not be at the right people, but I would like to see this brought to a head, especially after last night when more accusations and more threats of lawsuits were thrown out at the Waterloo City Council meeting. Just anything that can be done to speed that process up and get an answer for those council people that are in question.
Thank you, Forrest.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other people from the public? Moving on to claims and payments. Resolution to approve the expenditures for the county. Judy?
The county's expenditures this week total $560,341.52, 560,341.52. This includes our annual payment to the state out of the JCS budget for the Indigent Defense Fund of $163,000 approximately.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? This is a resolution. Please answer as your name is called.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Magsman,
yes,
Schwartz,
Yes.
White.
Yes, resolution adopted. Resolution to approve the expenditures for Country View Care Facility.
Country View's expenditures that will be paid this week total $56,187.39, 56187.39. We have a liability on Country View's books to the county of $631,913.43 for 2 months worth of benefits and other expenditures that.
Move to approve.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Discussion. This is a resolution. Please answer as your name is called.
Little,
Yes.
Magsman,
yes,
Schwartz.
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
White.
Yes, resolution adopted. Next is receive project updates from department heads and elected officials. Morning, Kathy.
Morning.
Good morning, Board. Kathy Nicholas, County Engineer. I'll give you an update on the road conditions. Currently, we do have about six or eight roads, gravel roads closed due to high water. And this is in all the river basins. Waters Road in the Blackhawk Creek Basin, that is closed due to flooding. We do have flooding in the east portion of the county due to the Wapsipinicon overflowing. And then this time we did have some flooding on Wyden Road between Shawless Road and Washburn Road. So the folks in that neighborhood are using Gollenvo to get out. That is still high for the next several days, it sounds like. So there are a few instances where the damage may be worse than it was 2 weeks ago, but we are expecting it to still be minimal damage. It's kind of hard to assess it right now because it's still underwater, but I can report on that next week. Our construction activities, the Finchford Road Bridge, the deck pour, I had told you about that last week. Just due to the weather, that has been delayed, and it sounds like it will take place now on Thursday. So if you're interested in going to that, I will keep you updated so that you can go and see that. And then we're still paving on Waverly Road and Zanetta Road. And Aspro still hasn't, they will go to Elk Run Road in the next several weeks. Can I answer any questions at this time? Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
Any other department heads or elected officials? Next is minutes approved for September 18, 2018.
Second.
Moved and seconded, discussion. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. We have hearings that set up for ordinance number 77-216, rezone request by BMG Aggregates. We have a ordinance number 77-217, rezone request by Dean and Karen French. We have an ordinance number 277-218, rezone request by Philip Shirk. And an ordinance number 77-219, rezone request by Blackhawk County. These will be following the rest of the agenda. Consent agenda by resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion on any of the items? This is a resolution. Please answer your name as called.
Maxman?
Yes.
Schwartz?
Yes.
Leyland?
Yes.
Little?
Yes.
White?
Yes, resolution adopted. Next is a proclamation to proclaim October 7th to the 13th as Earth Science Week.
So moved.
Second. You're up, Sharon.
Here in the batter's box.
The batter's box. Very good. Thank you very much. On your desk in front of you, of course, is the invite out to Sunday at the Quarry program. This year's theme is Everyone is a Miner. And as always, we try to stress some aspect of the earth sciences that impact all of us. On behalf of the Earth Science Week Committee, we thank you for issuing the Earth Science Week proclamation. This year marks the 20th anniversary of the issuance of this proclamation here in Black Hawk County, along with the Sunday at the Quarry program. The theme, Everyone is a Miner, is an effort to call attention to the need to utilize, manage, and conserve all of our resources. From metals to non-metals, from soil to water, from wind and other energy sources, we derive everything we need to survive by mining our resources. In fact, our bodies even mine the air that we breathe for the 21% oxygen. Our digestive system mines the nutrients we consume in order for us to conduct respiration. We're all miners, all of us, in both the private and the public sectors. And we must understand and implement the best management practices to utilize our resources with all of our areas of government leading the way, setting an example. And we hope to see you on Sunday at the Quarry, October the 7th, because we will have some great displays and great programs. And I would encourage you to consider that, and also to point out that, of course, two of you I know are involved with our WMAs, the Upper Cedar and the Middle Cedar, and of course the County Conservation, our Soil and Water District, watershed management groups, and watershed management projects. And I would point out to you that while the flooding conditions are upon us now, consider what they would have been like if we would have to retrace our steps back to 2008, where we had excessive flooding. The implementation of those practices that mine our area in order to make sure that we can improve and consider our resources have been implemented. So that's an example of how well we mine our resources and how well we apply our resources. We thank you again for the proclamation. If you've got any questions, we'll look forward to seeing everybody then.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you.
Thank you for your work.
You got the proclamation, Grant? Or?
Whereas the earth sciences are fundamental to society, and whereas the earth sciences provide the research to mine wind and solar energy as alternative power sources, and whereas the earth sciences provide methods to access water resources from the subsurface and surface for life support, and whereas the earth sciences provide information to develop and utilize aggregate resources and metallic ores to build society, and whereas the earth sciences provide research to mine and develop energy resources to power society, and whereas the earth sciences provide fundamental research in agriculture to build good soils to provide food sources to feed the world's populations, and whereas the earth sciences are crucial for assisting citizens and governments in best management practices for understanding, mining, and developing our resources, therefore we proclaim the second week in October as Earth Science Week.
This resolution, please answer as your name is called.
Schwartz?
Yes.
Leyland?
Yes.
Little?
Yes.
Magsman?
Yes.
White?
Yes, resolution adopted. Thank you, Sharon. Next is other business. Motion that the request for purchase of capital equipment submitted by Kim Veeder, IT Director, be approved, direct to chair
So
to
moved.
sign for same.
Second.
Docking station, $1,546.87. Moved in second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, motion carried. Motion travel request submitted by Kim Veeder, IT Director, to direct the chair to sign for same. ICIT conference in Des Moines, the amount $275.08.
So moved.
Second.
Moving to second, any discussion on this item? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Resolution that the taxes are on submitted properties which have come into public ownership through community development efforts and public infrastructure improvement of public purpose acquisition be abated and instruct the county treasurer to adjust her records accordingly.
So moved.
$24,148.92 worth of properties.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Rita, you want to expound on anything? You got any? No?
It's a property that the city has taken ownership of.
No. This is a resolution. Please answer your name is called.
Leyland?
Yes.
Little?
Yes.
Magsman?
Yes.
Schwartz?
Yes.
White?
Yes, resolution adopted. This resolution of taxes on submitted properties be abated under 445.16 of the Code of Iowa. Blackhawk County Treasurer has determined that it is impractical to pursue collection of the total amounts due through the tax sale and personal judgment remedy of the title, little recourse for collection of taxes, and to authorize the county treasurer to strike from the tax list the reference of past due amounts in the amount of $4,601.28.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on this item? This is a resolution. Please answer as your name is called.
Little?
Yes.
Magsman?
Yes.
Schwartz?
Yes.
Leyland?
Yes.
White?
Yes, resolution adopted. Next is a resolution that the property assessment forgiveness request submitted by Anthony Decker for the property located at 1309 Sheffield Avenue, Waterloo, parcel number 891231352.026, in the amount of $6,200 be approved.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion.
I guess this request by an individual that has stated that he's done a lot of work on this property. The $6,200, my understanding, is been assessed by the city of Waterloo for cleanup that they've done on the property in the past. I guess my recollection here on the board, I have not voted for this type of forgiveness of this $6,200.
And Tony, I believe, Rita, either one can answer this. I think it was the assessment as well as taxes. It was not just the assessment only, it was for forgiveness of taxes.
Come up to it.
There was 4 foot of garbage all the way to the back. I've got it cleaned up. The whole lot was covered.
No, I understand that. But I mean, the amount you were requesting was taxes as well as an assessment. And it was for the removal, weed removal, as well as lot clearing that had been done years ago
Yes.
and assessed, but
I think it's all a nothing deal. I think that's what we approach. So, sounds like we have the majority. I appreciate if you vote on it. Thank you very much.
This resolution, please answer as your name is called.
Magsman?
No.
Schwartz?
Yes.
Leyland?
no.
Little?
Yes.
White?
Yes, resolution adopted. Next is a 9:05 hearing. It's now 9:15 on proposed ordinance number 77-216 BMC aggregates rezone.
Motion received, place on file for publication.
Second.
Moved and second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Motion to waive the first reading of notice was published on September 14th in the Waterloo Courier.
So move.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, motion carried. Motion to close the hearing after oral or written comments are received and placed on file.
So move.
Second.
Any written comments, Grant?
No, sir.
You're up, buddy.
Okay. The Planning and Zoning Commission, at its regular meeting on August 21st, 2018, reviewed the request by BMC Aggregates to rezone 40 acres from A Agricultural District to A Agricultural Limited District for the purpose of expanding an existing quarry operation. The property is located to the northeast of 9128 West Cedar Wapsie Road, which is near but and not adjacent to the northeast quarter of West Cedar Wapsie Road and North Union Road. The request to rezone approximately 40 acres from A Agricultural District, A Agricultural District, for the purpose of expanding an existing quarry operation. It was moved by Sage and seconded by Enchan to approve the request to rezone 40 acres from agricultural to agricultural limit in order to allow for the expansion of an existing quarry. Motion to approve carried unanimously. The immediate area is predominantly existing quarry site, agricultural land, and rural residences. Blackhawk County future land use map, a component of the Blackhawk County land use plan, designates the areas agricultural to the north, south, east, and west. The applicant has a lease on the 40-acre property that is being zoned from A Agricultural District to Agricultural Limited to allow for the production of aggregates with permission from the owner. BMC Aggregates operates numerous quarries throughout Blackhawk County. Recently, BMC received approval to rezone request. This request just to the east of 2530 McStay Road to expand an existing quarry operation approximately 2 miles east of Raymond. The following methods will be utilized to minimize the nature disruption. The court will only be removing 2 acres per year from farm deduction. The mining operation will be conducted in accordance with the optimum standards of the industry and in accordance with Mining Safety Health Administration, EPA, DNR, and Iowa Department of Agriculture and Land Stewardship, including federal, state, and local laws governing mining. Commercial extraction operation is listed as an allowed use in the Agricultural Limited District, whereas it is not allowed current in the Agricultural District. The proposed rezone area is currently adjacent to the existing quarry operation, so the request would not appear to have a negative impact on the area. The applicant also noted they will continue to use the existing ingress-egress entrance off of Winslow Road, and material will be stockpiled at their existing sales yard. Technical Review Committee did not have any concerns regarding this request.
Thank you, Seth.
Thank you.
Any questions for Seth? I have a motion and a second on the floor to close the hearing. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. This resolution to suspend the rules requiring the Board of Supervisors to consider and vote on a proposed ordinance at 2 prior meetings.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion. This resolution, please answer your name as called.
Schwartz?
Yes.
Leyland?
Yes.
Little?
Yes.
Agsman?
Yes.
White?
Yes, this ordinance adoption, that ordinance amending ordinance number 36 is amended to Blackhawk County, Iowa Agricultural Preservation Zoning Ordinance adopted February 2nd, 1999 by adding subsection number 216, section 6B, rezoning certain property as described in the above request submitted by BMC Aggregates to consider the same for adoption, and if adopted, would be known as ordinance number 77-216.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? This is a resolution. Please answer your name as called.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Eichmann,
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes.
White.
Yes, resolution adopted. Thank you, Seth.
Yeah, thank you.
Next is a hearing on the proposed ordinance number 77-217, Dean and Karen French rezone. Motion to receive and place on file proof of publication and notice of public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, motion carried. Motion to waive the first reading as notice was published September 14th, 2018 in the Waterloo Courier in accordance with the requirements of the Code of Iowa.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Motion to close the hearing after oral or
So
written
moved.
comments are received.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any written comments?
No, sir.
Seth?
Okay. Yeah, the Planning and Zoning Commission at its regular meeting on August 21st, 2018, reviewed the request by Dean and Karen French to rezone 1.81 acres from A Agricultural District to the Agricultural Residential District to allow for the construction of one single-family home at 9737 North Canfield Road, which is approximately a quarter mile to the north of the intersection of North Canfield Road and Fairbank Road, and it was moved by Aunt Cheyenne and seconded by SAC to deny the rezone request of approximately 1.81 acres from A Agricultural District to Agricultural Residential District for the purpose of building a new single-family home. Motion to deny carried 2-2 with Stage and Beck voting nay, and Cheyenne and SAC were concerned about taking prime farmland out of production. The parcel containing 1.1 acres for the proposed rezone has been zoned agricultural district since the adoption of the zoning ordinance. The rezone area is currently zoned agricultural district and consists of a home, outbuildings, and agricultural lands. The surrounding area consists of agricultural lands to north, south, east, and west as well. None of the land is located in a special flood hazard area. The applicant wishes to rezone 1.81 acres from AR Agricultural Residential District to build one new single-family home. The area consists of a lot of record, and the rezoning request is approved. The applicant will go through the, the property has a LISA score of 264 out of 30, which is considered a high agricultural site. Zoning ordinance notes that land that is classified as having high agricultural value should be strongly discouraged for development in almost every case. It also states that in general, these sites are reserved for agricultural activities and protected from urban development or urban land use encroachment. However, the ordinance also states that under very unique circumstances are these sites to be developed and only after compelling evidence is provided. And there was followed area has not been an active row crop production or conservation reserve program for the previous 15 years. Area is not conducive to production by reason of parcel size or shape. Area is compatible with surrounding uses by reason of similar adjacent uses. Meeting any one of these criteria should not constitute approval. However, as each request will be reviewed and evaluated on its individual circumstances. The applicant noted the application of the area in question has not been farmed for over 4 decades. The proposed area is not located within the Blackhawk County Waterloo Airport Land Use Height Overlay Review Area. Stephan emailed Tim Andera and noted that she was concerned about the high LISA score of 264. Brendan and Heiberger stated that the land evaluation score was at 100 as well. And that is staff report.
So 2 were for it and 2 were against.
Yep.
And I'd like to comment on that. I think the board's been criticized for appointing people to different boards and doing it rather hastily. And this is exactly the reason I think it's important to have 5 members and 7 members present when they can to vote on things, because a 2-2 vote really kind of sets a project back, and it's denied just ultimately just because of that tie vote. So I'm glad that the board has an opportunity then to weigh in on this type of project.
Absolutely.
And we understand too, things do come up and sometimes you can't have all of the attendance. I guess my question, Seth, is I see this property is completely surrounded by trees.
Yes. which makes it less conducive for farming.
And it hasn't been farmed for 40 years.
Absolutely, and that is one of the criteria on the unique compelling evidence list.
What's the land been used for?
It's just been, I don't know about Kirk. Yeah, this is Kirk Eshelman, and, oh, okay, sure.
This is Mr. French, Kirk Eschliman with Guest and Associates. How do we bring up those?
Oh, okay.
Oh, anyway, with my health conditions, I'd like to be able to have our grandson live there so we can keep the place up. We've lived there 46 years, we're trying to keep it up, and anymore I can't do anything. So the closer he is, I mean, he already does a lot for us now, and if he lives there, I know he can keep the fences up and a bunch of stuff like that. So I'd really appreciate it if I could get it rezoned so he could live there and help us out. Thank you.
Thank you.
This gets into some public information that's available to anybody, and if you're ever interested, you can learn a lot of history. It's the Iowa State Geological Site. They have aerial photography from more recent, which is quite accurate, some historical. There's parts of the state, they actually have aerial photography that dates back to 1930. In this case, whoops, how do we get out of that? Yeah, okay, now, this is the farmstead listed under the 1970 aerial photography. And, this is the 1980, it was only available from, it's on that site, but they list it as being USDA, and it's run as infrared to show potentially what was crop. My comment would be is the area we're looking at is that north triangular, rectangular area north of the drive. That area is fenced independently, and the fencing is substantially old enough to make me believe that that's when, by the 1980 aerial photography, that area had been fenced. My opinion, from where the building's set like that, it looks like it was used more as grazing for like calves. My grandfather did that, so that's what the evidence indicates, although it's still, this is the next shot. I believe that's 1990.
Yeah.
That's 2000. You can see the tree line across the north end is becoming substantial enough. I was unable to attend that the P&D meeting. You can also see trees are starting to grow along either side of the roadway. So it's isolated enough that the argument was made, not that it would be turned into normal row crop, but they said, what if somebody wanted to turn that into a truck crop? In other words, tomatoes, onions, potatoes. It hasn't been used like that way to date. This is 2010. See, they've added additional trees along the property lines. I know during that time frame, various departments were offering trees for free to farmsteads. So that would be my guess on why they had additional. And I think that's the last one we got. Do you have any questions?
Nope.
I'm just looking at the evidence, and I understand the two were looking at it. If this was out in open field, I would probably say, okay, yeah, your argument's valid. But this has been an isolated farmstead. That length of time, I don't think it violates your rules. but that's my opinion.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments? I have a motion and a second on the floor to close the hearing. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Next is a resolution to suspend the rules requiring the Board of Supervisors to vote on the proposed ordinance 2 prior meetings. Moved and seconded. This resolution, please answer as your name is called.
Little,
Yes.
Agsman,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
White.
Yes, resolution adopted. Next is ordinance adoption that the ordinance amending ordinance number 36 is amended by the Blackhawk County Agricultural Preservation Zoning Ordinance adopted February 2nd, 1999 by adding subsection 217 to section 6B, rezoning certain property as described on the above request submitted by Dean and Karen French, and to consider the same for adoption. If adopted, would be known as ordinance number 77-217.
And Pete, this is one, just for clarification, a vote yes would mean that we support the denial,
Yes,
and we need 4,
you need 4 to override this.
override it. So we need 4.
So,
Yes is a vote of what?
We need 4
To
no.
deny it?
I'm not sure what the motion was. Was it to,
I think yes would be a vote in favor of it.
I haven't heard the motion yet, so. Who made the motion?
No one's made a motion yet.
Huh?
There's no motion
No, I
yet.
think
I'll
it
make
was-
a
it was
motion.
just clarification.
I'll make a motion to approve, which a yes vote would overrule the denial.
Second.
that'll take 4 positive votes, 4 yes votes to succeed.
This resolution, please answer your name is called.
Little,
Yes.
Agsman,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
White.
Yes, resolution adopted. Next is a hearing on the proposed ordinance number 77-218, Philip Shirk. Motion to receive and place on file proof of publication of the notice of public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, motion carried. Motion to waive the first reading as notice was published September 14, 2018 in the Waterloo Courier, 7.08 acres from agricultural district to AR agricultural residential to construct 3 single-family homes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Moved in second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Motion to close the hearing after oral written comments
moved.
are received and placed
Second.
on file. Any written ones?
No, sir.
You're up again, Seth.
Okay. All right, the Planning and Zoning Commission at its regular meeting on August 21st, 2018, reviewed the request of Philip Shirk to rezone 7.08 acres from A Agricultural District to AR Agricultural Residential District to allow for the construction of 3 new single-family homes. Property is located at 8902 Dysart Road. The Planning and Zoning Commission at the regular meeting on August 21st, 2018, it was moved by Anshan and seconded by Sage to deny the request to rezone 7.08 acres from A Agricultural District to AR Agricultural Residential District to allow for the construction of 3 new single-family homes. Motion denied, carried unanimously. The 7.08 acres in question is located at 8902, which is approximately 1 mile south of the Dysart Road and East Shock Road intersection. The rezone area is currently zoned agricultural district, and surrounding area to the north, south, east, and west is zoned agricultural as well. The rezone request is designated as agricultural on the future land use map. The surrounding area is also designated as agricultural. None of the rezone area is within the floodplain. The site has a land evaluation score of 95 and a lease score of 257. The rezone area consists of 1 parcel, and if rezoning is approved, there are plans to plat the parcel into 3 lots for the minor plat process. The parcel is large enough to accommodate 3 developable lots that meet the lot and size requirements for the agricultural residential district. The property has a lease score of 257 out of 300, which is considered high agricultural value site. Zoning ordinance notes that the land that is classified as having high agricultural value should be strongly discouraged for development in almost every case. Also states that in general, these sites are reserved for agricultural activities and protected from urban development or land use encroachment. However, the ordinance also states that under very clear, unique circumstances are these sites to be developed, and only after compelling evidence is provided, which include areas not been in active row crop production or conservation reserve program for the previous 15 years, areas not conducive to production by reason of parcel size or shape, areas not compatible with uses by reason of similar adjacent uses. Meeting any one of these criteria should not constitute approval, however, as each request should be reviewed and evaluated based on its individual circumstances. It should be noted that the northern parcel contains outbuildings, a home, and a few trees. The majority of the northern parcel has not been farmed for several years. The applicant previously requested to rezone 17.49 acres from A agricultural district to AR agricultural residential district to allow for the construction of 6 new homes. The request is unanimously denied by the Planning and Zoning Commission. This request is different because it's only rezoning 7.08 acres from A agricultural district to AR agricultural residential district to allow for the construction of 3 new single-family homes. In addition, the parcel being rezoned is over 50% developed with home and farm buildings, and the remainder of the parcel has not been farmed for several years. The request for rezoning 7.08 acres to residential district also went before the Board of Supervisors on July 10, 2018. However, annotated there was miscommunication in regards to the meeting start time for the April 17, 2018 meeting. The meeting time was switched to 78, and the Board of Supervisors decided to table the request and have it go before the Planning and Zoning Commission on August 21st, 2018. Technical Review Committee noted high agricultural value of the land with a Lisa score of 257, and that's the staff report.
Thank you, Seth.
Thank you.
The land, you said that the outbuildings, you know, that the home on there is probably over 100 years old.
That's correct.
And I don't know how long those outbuildings have been there. The third parcel, I guess, would be on the southern side. How long has that been out of crop production?
It's been out for several years.
60 years.
Over 65 years.
What was their major concern?
Oh, the Planning and Zoning Commission,
Yes.
their concern was just that it's prime farmland and a heavily agricultural area.
There was someone that spoke, I think, at the planning and zoning meeting regarding it being farmland. There was a resident that spoke to that. Are they here today? I wonder if they wanted to speak, or does anybody else want to speak to it?
How many houses did they want to build there?
It's just 3.
And maybe they want to speak to this, were they tearing down all of the buildings, the homestead included?
Yeah, I'll speak to it. So, and these aren't accurate, this isn't an engineering plat or anything like that. So basically just tearing down the house, leaving the 40 by 60 steel building there, and then probably moving the grain bins to another site, and any of the other buildings, probably just tearing them down. Probably gonna have to.
So originally, though, this was the 17-acre parcel and an additional 3.
Well, there's 2 parcels there, to the south there, there's another 10-acre parcel. But that one, it's just because it's pasture, it was, they weren't gonna approve that at all, so just leaving it alone. I might hang on to that, but then, yeah, just splitting these off. I'm probably gonna make these lot lines a little wider, across the road there, and I'm gonna have to tear down most of it, but leave all the trees and stuff like that.
So no one lives in that property now?
No, it's not really habitable, because I wanted to rehab the house itself, but
Do you own it now?
no, it's subject to this going through.
And so you're actually developer or a broker?
I'm developing it. I mean, there's not, I mean, I have to bring obviously water there and a few other things, but yeah.
Does it have access to city water?
I believe it's rural. I had, what's that, or city, okay. I had Nick Kelker come look at it with me recently, and yeah. Century 21 just ran internet and all that stuff right across the street. I mean, you can see all their stuff.
Well, the first vote I saw was unanimously denied 7-0.
Yeah, that was when it was 6. Yep. And they were more concerned with that pasture there, just because it's 10 acres of grass.
So you're not building a house to live in?
I've thought about it. It just depends on, I guess, the way it goes. You know, I'm not tied down to anything now necessarily, so I've thought about it many times. But it just depends on the way this goes and where my costs land.
But the initial intent was with the 6 was because to develop the area.
Mm-hmm. Since we just don't really have, I'm in real estate now, and we don't really have a ton of acreage lots in Blackhawk County, so people typically look to Bremer for that type of stuff, and it just wanted to create an option, I guess.
I know Charlene came in
Yeah.
and met with some of us,
Mhm.
I was gonna say, and talked to, gave us a little bit more information about it.
Mhm.
But apparently, has it been for sale for quite a while?
Yep.
Do you know a date?
Probably, 16 months now?
Sure, okay, a little over a year. So you developing this is contingent on this rezone?
Mm-hmm.
So what happens if you don't rezone it?
Then it falls apart. I mean, there's...
The sale?
Yeah, I mean, it's paying a fair price for it. I mean, it's one of those things that it was creating an option for clients, and then, and then them selling their property too as a client of our companies.
Are you actually buying it, or is it real estate company?
No, I'm buying it. It's independent from our company. I just, had been out there and I thought of it and had Bill Clausen look at it.
So and maybe this is something Shane can answer, I was gonna say, as far as the person that spoke in opposition to it, I assumed their comment, and I don't know this, but I was gonna say was about the fact that pasture land could be farmed?
No, Tom Schneider, he's, I guess he's someone who rents the land behind there, and he was just concerned about spray, which obviously if you have someone, you're concerned about that no matter what. That's part of living in the country. But he was concerned about hearing complaints about overspray. They're really deep lots, and I mean, it's one of those things, I don't think you're gonna build your house that far back, and really, it's all fence right there, and there's trees along that backside too. So.
Seth, they had to have more reasons to deny it than just the one. What was their other concerns?
Their main concern was just the prime farmland concern. That's the main reason why they voted for it. And then, the area's an agricultural area, doesn't have a whole lot of homes there, like where other rezone areas have been approved when there's, a lot more houses in the area. Those were their concerns.
The technical committee said to the high ag value with that Lisa scores.
Any further questions?
I believe there is a new home that's built just north of there.
Yeah.
Did the owner wish to speak?
Good morning, committee. My name is Charlene McAlpin Ackerman. I was raised on this farm. I've lived there 65 years. It's always been pasture on the pasture part. We listed this in April of last year.
Seth, could you bring that picture back up?
This has been for sale for almost 2 years. At the beginning, we listed it in April. It took us until November. It was listed, whoops, I'm moving it, I apologize. We listed it as 2 building lots. My father in 1985 came and had this rezoned as a second building site for the pasture. It took us until November of last year for the Planning and Zoning Committee to come up with the record that yes, in fact, we could build here. The pasture is already zoned for 1 house. However, in that time, we had numerous people going to the Planning and Zoning Committee asking about buying this, splitting it up, and were denied that. So it took us that long just to get turned down by that. So then in March of this year, Philip listed it and wanted to buy it. And we've been numerous problems. We've been back and forth with rezoning supervisors, back to the rezoning. We ran city water, came approximately 1.5 miles up the road. We ran the city water down there so that we had the opportunity to run it to the new lot that would be in the pasture. We've picked up rocks in that pasture for over 60 years, plus the farmland, which we originally had farmed. Tom Snyder is now renting the land that's around the farm. His biggest concern was the overspray possibility of people living there. Well, I've got a problem with that. If you're worrying about overspray, the animals that would be in that pasture are going to be eating that spray, and we're going to be eating the spray from the animals. Also, we carry $1 million balloon policy on the farm. We had cattle in it. We rented the pasture out, had cattle in it for several years. Every year, we had a problem with cattle getting out, someone hitting them. Last year, we had a young man coming from Dysart up the road, and it darn near killed him. And to me, it's my responsibility not to have that in pasture where we're taking a possibility of killing someone. The road has been hard surfaced recently, and the travel on that road is extreme. You know, we have a lot more traffic. I can't, in my good conscience, put cattle back in that pasture. I just won't do it. I do have pictures from, if you want to see the pasture land as actually of what it looks like, I've got pictures that were from the assessment that we had done. And you can see the rocks in the pasture. We're 1.5 miles from the gravel quarry. And the pasture used to have a stream that ran through it. It's recently dried up. You know, there's no longer a stream there. It's pretty much rock. Tom Schneider told us that we didn't know how to farm, basically, that we could farm that land and it's prime land. It's not. It's not. I'm sorry. I realize he'd like to farm it maybe. I don't know. But it's not farmable. It's rock. It's a rock base.
Are you speaking of the portion?
The pasture.
Pasture portion, but we're looking at.
Okay, the
We
buildings.
have one lot.
It's part of
possibly
the
a pasture.
part of the pasture, just a little bit. The buildings, there's 4 outbuildings and the grain bins that would be, the grain bins moved, the buildings torn down, the house torn down, the barn torn down. The big Morton building would be the only thing probably left standing.
Seth, I got a question. If there's currently a house, right, and nobody's living there, if they were gonna tear that house down and put a new one, there probably wouldn't have been any problem, would there?
No, they can tear down the house. And
Yeah.
but it's, yeah.
So the
basically-
problem is the multiple
lots, I agree.
lots is what the zoning had issue with.
Yeah, because each one of those parcels is a lot of record, which does allow for one home to be built on it.
But technically, somebody could buy that today, tear that house down and put a new one up.
They could.
Any other questions?
Does anyone want to see these?
I've drove out and seen it out property.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions? Motion to close the hearing.
You have a motion.
You already got that. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. This is a resolution to suspend the rules requiring the Board of Supervisors.
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. This resolution, please answer your name and called.
Maxman,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
White.
Yes, resolution adopted. This is an ordinance adoption that the ordinance amending ordinance number 36 is amended. Blackhawk County, Iowa Agricultural Preservation Zoning Ordinance adopted February 2nd, 1999 by adding subsection number 218 to section 6B, rezoning certain property as described in the above request submitted by Philip Shirk, and to consider the same for adoption if adopted would be known as ordinance number 77-218.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. This is the resolution. Please answer your name.
This takes the supermajority.
Yes, 4 votes here. And I take it the motion is to approve the rezoning.
That
Four
was my
votes.
intent.
Yes.
And I guess the caveat to that, the reason I seconded is because of the time frame that these 3 lots have been out of farm production, and the buildings and residents that are there today.
I have a motion and a second. This is an ordinance. Please answer your name as called.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Leyland,
No.
Little,
No.
Magsman,
Yes.
White.
Yes. Resolution fails. Next is a 9/11 hearing on a proposed ordinance number 77-219 Blackhawk County rezone. Motion to receive and place on
So moved.
file proof of publication of notice of public hearing.
Second.
Moved and second. All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, motion carried. This motion to waive the first reading as notice was published on September 14th, 2018 in the Waterloo Courier in accordance with the requirements of the Code of Iowa.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, motion carried. This, a motion to close the hearing as oral and written comments were received.
Oh, yeah.
It's on file.
So moved.
Second.
Ready, Seth?
Yep, getting there.
Get there.
Okay.
Working overtime today.
Gosh, this thing. Okay, the Planning and Zoning Commission, at its regular meeting on August 21st, 2018, reviewed the request by Blackhawk County to rezone 10.6 acres from Agricultural Limited District to RM Residential Multiple District in order to ensure Blackhawk County Country Facility is properly zoned for its use. The property is located at 1410 West Dunkerton Road, which is approximately a quarter-mile west of the West Dunkerton Road and Burton Road intersection. It was moved by SAC and seconded by Sage to approve the request to rezone 10.6 acres from Agriculture at Agricultural Limited to RM Residential Multiple District in order to ensure Blackhawk County Country View facility is properly zoned for its use, and a condition placed on the property that limits its use to being a long-term care facility. Motion to approve carried unanimously. The property's been zoned a agricultural district and a agricultural limited district since the adoption of the zoning ordinance in 1982. The immediate area primarily consists of farmland and some rural homes. Surrounding areas zoned AL, agricultural limited to south, and agricultural district to north, south, east, and west. Properties identified as government and open space and agricultural on the future land use map, one of the Blackhawk County land use plan. The property in question is not located in a special flood hazard area. The site is at least a score of 214, which just indicates moderate agricultural value. The site meets the lot and size requirements of the residential multiple district by being greater than 10,000 square feet in size and wider than 75 feet. The technical review committee did not have any concerns regarding this request.
Thank you, Seth.
Thank you.
Okay. I think we have someone here that.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Dennis Bailey. I live at 1640 West Dunkerton Road, which is the house that you can see there in the picture. I'd like to thank Seth for, he's been helpful in the process. I don't go through this on a regular basis, so thanks to him. So I've a couple concerns here, and really the first one is the biggest one, and that is the ultimate use of the property. You know, if we rezone it to residential multiple, I understand the condition, I understand what that means, but you know, that's a first big step, is having it zoned as residential multiple. so down the road, 15, 20 years, it could be potentially in that zoning, or zone as RM, could be used for multiple family dwellings, mobile home parks, subdivisions, hotels, motels, funeral homes. I understand that's not the intent right now. The intent would be, let's keep it as a nursing care facility, which makes sense. But ultimately, what could that property be used for? That's my concern. I think those permitted uses that I read there, they're not consistent or compatible with the character of the surrounding area. So that's my concern, is the ultimate use. Second thing is, if we think about the whole history here, Blackhawk County has owned this property for a long time, over 100 years. And the zoning ordinance has come along, obviously, much more recently than that. But if we think about what we're doing here, is we're using the county exemption that says the county can do something different than everybody else to construct and use in a different manner that's inconsistent with how we're zoned. And that's how we got into this problem, right? Of it's not zoned for the use for a private enterprise to own this property. That's how we got where we're at. So, if we take the easy way and we rezone it, then we're really not we're not staying in line with the spirit and the intent of the ordinance, which is to use the areas properly, to use land properly. I understand the motivation of practicality. It is a nursing care facility. Why wouldn't we keep that? Makes sense. I appreciate the condition that's mentioned. So I guess what I'm asking for, or asking for us to consider, is, do we really have to take the easy path right now? Can we take a look at some other options? For example, add some verbiage to the ordinance particularly about disposition of county-owned properties and what we can do with that. There's not a use exemption right now in the ordinance that would allow for this to stay a nursing care facility as it's currently zoned, but why can't there be? Why can't we take a more holistic approach at how the county disposes or dispositions land that they no longer need, instead of just taking it the easy way and rezoning it? So really, again, it's the ultimate use that's my concern, and then the messy process of the county acquiring and disposing of property that it's just messy in the ordinance. Let's clean up the ordinance and make a bigger view method of doing that. That's my request. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second on the floor to close the hearing. All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, motion carried. This is a resolution to suspend the rules requiring the Board of Supervisors
So
to
moved.
consider and vote on the proposed ordinance at 2 prior meetings. Moved and seconded. This is a resolution. Please answer as your name is called.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Eichmann,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
White.
Yes, resolution adopted. This is an ordinance adoption that the ordinance amending ordinance number 36 is amended to Blackhawk County, Iowa Agricultural Preservation Zoning Ordinance adopted February 2nd, 1999
So
by
moved.
adding subsection 219
Second.
to the ordinance. This is a resolution. Please answer as your name is called.
Little,
Yes.
Eichmann,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
White.
Yes, resolution adopted. Next is a closed session. We're going into closed session. Before we do that, do you have any reports or information from the board?
Just mention that we were able to provide the 22nd honor flight out of Waterloo Airport this morning, taking veterans to Washington, D.C. to spend a day with each other and to tour the monuments and enjoy the time together. They will be returning at between 9:30 and 10:15 tonight. It's always a great crowd that comes out and welcomes them home. So if you have an opportunity, please come out and thank our veterans for what they have done.
Just to expound on that a little bit, Frank, too, is we probably should remind the people out in the public that we've got a lot of seats open for next year. We've got limited, or very limited people signed up for next year flights, and we do have money in the bank, enough money for at least one flight. And the way things have been going, it kind of turns, we ebb and tide, and by next year at this time, we'll probably have 25, 26, and 27 flights.
So there is another one October 23rd, also out of the Waterloo Airport.
So we're going to go into closed session, so this is a resolution pursuant to the provisions of the Iowa Open Meeting Law. The Blackhawk County Board of Supervisors shall proceed into closed session with attorney to discuss strategy with counsel in matters that are presently in litigation or where litigation is imminent, where its disclosure would be likely to prejudice or disadvantage the position of the governmental body in the litigation and pursuant to the Iowa Code 21.5C of the Code of Iowa.
So move.
Second?
Tony?
This is a resolution. Please answer as your name is called.
Yes.
Little?
Motion to adjourn. Or close executive session.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor, aye?